In the heart of northern Vietnam, there lies a quiet village with a secret buried deep beneath its soil. A secret only whispered among elders and barely believed by the young. They say the land remembers everything, the lives it nurtures, the battles it's seen, and the spirits that never left. This is not just folklore. This is the story of a warrior without a head and the family he chose to protect. Let me tell you a bit about my mother's side of the family. Our land in the countryside was quite large. After my grandfather passed away, the property was divided so each of his children could build a home. My mom stayed in Hanoi, but Uncle Dong and Uncle Quang built their houses nearby. Grandma also built a small house behind Uncle Quang's for herself to live and tend to the family altar. In 2005, my Aunt Tam moved back and built her home there too. Eventually, the whole extended family lived together again. There's something very strange about that land. Except for my mom and Aunt Tam, who both had sons while living in Hanoi, every family who lived on that plot gave birth only to daughters. No exceptions. Uncle Dung had 2 daughters. Uncle Quang, after years of infertility, also had 2 daughters. Later, when Uncle Quang's wife's family and Aunt Tom's in-laws moved in, they too had daughters, 4 of them. Even Grandma's sister's family next door, all girls, except one son born far away in Thanh Hoa. People say the energy of the land can affect childbirth, and girls, they say, are connected to the yin spirit. Back in 2002, when I was in 10th grade, I went home and visited our ancestral graveyard. That's when I saw something unusual, an old tombstone written entirely in Chinese characters. Curious, I asked my mom about it. She hesitated and then told me one of the family's darkest secrets. It happened when she was just 12 years old. My grandfather worked the night shift at a factory. Often he wouldn't come home until 1 or 2 a.m. The old house was built in traditional style, just one main room. On the right side was a wooden bed where my grandmother and her 5 children slept together. That night, it was raining lightly. My mom and Grandma were lying there chatting and waiting for Grandpa to come home when they suddenly heard something rustling in the garden. Then it got louder, heavy, like the clopping of hooves. Grandma sat up and went to light a candle, thinking someone might have brought a horse onto the property. Suddenly, bang! The wooden door burst open. The latch bar dropped by itself. A cold wind rushed in, and rain whipped across the floor. My uncles, Dung and Quang, around 8 or 9 years old then, woke up and clung to Grandma in terror. Then came the sound of hooves, right on the brick courtyard outside. And then, a rider stormed into the house, a man on horseback, dressed in ancient armor, but he had no head. In one hand, he held a massive sword. The horse let out a piercing, blood-curdling scream. My mom screamed too. At that exact moment, my grandfather returned. He was just unlocking the gate when the ghost rider turned and galloped out toward the riverbank. Hearing what had just happened, Grandpa was furious. He rolled up his pants, grabbed his machete and a sandal, and ran out barefoot into the night. Grandma screamed for him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. He didn't come back that night. The next morning, he returned, silent. He was holding just one sandal. When people asked him what happened, he never answered, not even once. He took that secret to his grave. Later that day, Grandma invited both a monk and a local shaman to investigate. They followed spiritual energy out to the bamboo trees by the riverbank, then pointed to a spot and said, "Dig here, 1.5 meters deep." So we dug. There, buried in the earth, were the bones of a horse and a headless soldier, still dressed in military garments. Grandma held a ceremony. She had offerings made, and we began to worship him, this spirit, as our family's guardian. From that day on, strange things still happened. But no matter how dark the situation seemed, somehow it always worked out in the end. Whenever someone mentions Grandma, they say she was a living legend, a strange and powerful woman with stories that would chill your soul. But I'll save those for another time. No one ever found out what truly happened that night by the river. Not even my grandfather, who came home with only one sandal. But from that day on, our family knew something was watching over us, something powerful. We never spoke his name, but we always lit a candle in silence. Some spirits seek vengeance, others seek to guard. And in our home, we still believe he never left.